Matthew 16:24. Then Jesus said to them, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me." Luke 9:23. Then he said to them all, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross daily, and follow me." When Jesus was among his disciples, he let them know that following him was not going to be easy. He let them know that each day would be a fight. Each day would be a personal crucifixion. Why? Because to be a follower of Christ, a true follower, you have to be willing to fight your flesh. Every day, you have to be willing to tell the body no. No, I won't be lazy today. No, I won't lust. No, I won't lie. No, I won't steal. No, I won't take that substance. No, I won't eat that food. No, I won't sleep right now. I need to be at work. And so every day you're telling the body no. And sometimes saying no to the body is painful. Sometimes it hurts. And so Jesus let them know that. He let them know that when you are serious about being his disciple and following in his footsteps, there is a cross that comes with it. And no, we won't be literally or physically crucified, but we do willingly take up our cross every time we willingly embrace the suffering of resisting sin and fleshly cravings for his sake. And so notice what Paul says about suffering. Even if you do a word search on suffering, you see Paul spoke of suffering often. He mentions how we glory in our sufferings because suffering produces perseverance. And this one here, if indeed we share in his sufferings in order that we may also share in his glory. And so here he again is speaking to the churches and saying that there's this suffering that is a part of being a follower of Christ. And if we partake in his suffering, how much more, of course, will we share in his glory? He's always talking about suffering and the perseverance that it produces and the glory that comes with it. And some of you have been asking, how can we endure the times ahead? Because it does seem as if our world is just going to get worse. And I believe that one of the greatest keys to being able to endure anything is when you become willing to not resist suffering, but to embrace it. And when suffering presents itself, to have a mentality that doesn't get scared, but says, bring it on. Because my Lord suffered. My brothers and sisters suffered. How much more should I? You see, when you train yourself to embrace suffering, it changes you. You become fearless and you become more faithful to God. A solid theology of suffering is something we all have to grow in, because once it clicks, and we develop that mindset, we will be able to walk as Jesus wants us to. We will be bold, fearless, courageous, and more faithful. And so I want to leave you with this. The greatest preparation for hardships and even persecution is the practice of suffering. Think of a boxer. Now, if many of us went into the boxing ring, what do you think would happen? Well, after the first hit, many of us would be done. We'd say, hey, that's enough. I've had it. I can't take any more of this. But skilled boxers are used to taking hits in practice. In fact, they are so used to being hit in the face in practice that when they face their opponent in the ring, well, they can take a few hits. It doesn't even faze them. Why? Because they are used to the pain of being hit in practice. They are already used to the suffering. And it's the same with war. When troops have to face their enemy, they aren't as fazed by the artillery, the gunfire, and the pain of detonations. Why? Because they've already experienced much of that in combat training. And so, friend, whatever comes your way in the future, whether it be persecution, trial, tribulation, whatever it may be, you prepare for that by being willing to train yourself today through suffering. And every time you resist the flesh, every time you say no to sin, every time you do what the Spirit wants to do and you tell the body no, you are willfully suffering for the gospel. And that willful suffering is what will allow you to persevere under whatever trial may come. And as Paul said, if we have suffered, how much more will we also taste the glory that comes with it? And so this is not the time for lukewarm Christianity. Those only concerned with their prosperity will quickly fall away. For the future ahead, you're going to have to be hard. You're going to have to develop a warrior mentality. And your training begins with the battle against your flesh.